set every highlight with the fan at Hop House. You can join Guardsy, Meat Sauce, and Parker Fox for Bracket Bash watch parties tomorrow, tipping off at 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Catch college hoops on the big screens, prizes flowing all day long, including 65-inch TVs. All the details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Final hour. Nordo in for PA, vocal maintenance in play, Tria tomorrow, a feast on Friday, and there you have it. But you're a tough man to track down. You're a traveling man. You've been to Florida. I don't know where else you've been. I think just Florida from what I know. But it's good to see you again. It's been a few weeks.
Tria tomorrow. Oh, it's the retirement press conferences for C.J. Ham and Adam Thielen.
Yeah, that's tomorrow afternoon. We're doing a wild show, though, tomorrow.
What time is that tomorrow?
It's presser. Middle of the afternoon. Sounds like an assignment for Brett Blakemore to determine exactly when that press conference is going to take place.
So Tria for morning skate, then TCO for Vikings presser, then back to the Cash Box, Grand Casino Arena for Wild.
What do you think is better, Cash Box or the slot machine?
Well, there's a slot in hockey.
Yes. So when they announced it, I was filling in for PA and I had Matt Maka on, bigwig, Minnesota Wild. I forget exactly. It's CEO, a lot of hats. I think and Maka's been there, for a long time too, maybe since the inception of the team. But Maka's terrific. But I said we need a nickname for it because Excel, it was the X, a simplification of it. Could we call it the slot machine? He didn't laugh. So I don't know.
GCA maybe?
GCA? Yeah,
it's gotta be. You gotta have something. I'm tired of saying Grand Casino.
Grand Casino. I'm already, but Grand Casino likes you saying Grand Casino.
Right.
So that's tough.
Because with Excel Energy, you can just say Excel at the Excel. You knew what it meant.
Oh yeah.
If you say at the Grand, you're not going to say the Grand what?
Even the fuse box was good.
The Grand 7. The Grand.
Grand what? It's not the Opry.
Right. Exactly. So it's got to come over.
Well, it's getting older.
By the way, what is the construction project here on Park Place Boulevard and Gamble? What is that? I haven't been here in like a month.
I always sneak in from 100, that exit by Benilde.
Yeah.
Or you're talking about this side street here. I have no idea what's going on there.
But you see, it's big fenced off and it's got all kinds of machinery in it now.
Yeah. I got stuck in there. There were a couple of guys working. It's down to one lane. Yeah. And one morning I had to back out and actually drive on the wrong side to get around.
Oh, really? I know exactly what you're talking about because I said, this is narrow. There's enough traffic in this area already. Because whatever they're working on looks like it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, whatever the, if Costco didn't bring enough people to this area, what's the next best thing they can put there?
See, the Costco in Egan's like on its own like mountain. The Costco in Woodbury's on its own area. The Costco in Roseville, is that Roseville? That one's got kind of its own complex. But the Costco out here is in the middle of liquor store, Liquor Boy, and you've got food stuff, the Arby's and everything. Yeah. And it's madness over there with parking.
No, it absolutely is. So busy day for you tomorrow. You're going to go to Tria, you're going to go to TCO, then you're going to go back to the Cash Box. Hopefully the Wild take 2 in a row from the Blackhawks and do their thing. Yeah. What'd you think of let's start with the baseball team and you heading down to Florida for a bit. What'd you think of things while you were down there?
It kind of reinforced what I was already worried about with this team. The one thing that's jumping out to me is I'm getting more worried about the defense and how consistently good it can be behind its pitching staff. My man, why is his name escaping me? Our new first baseman.
Oh, Josh Bell?
Josh Bell. He has like my range at first. We know that Brooks Lee doesn't have a lot of range at short.
Is that insinuating not a lot of range?
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of range. Royce is a great athlete playing third base.
Yeah.
Actually, he played well the days I was there. He made 4 nice plays in the back-to-back games. I guess Keisha's going to play at second. They've been trying Keisha in the outfield. It's been a disaster.
Really? Okay.
Oh, my God. He's not used to seeing the ball coming off the bat like he is at second base. Of course, Buck is Buck in center. Wallner's got the big arm in right. Left, Larnach is adequate at best defensively. That's why he's probably going to profile more as a DH. Him and Bell is probably going to be holding down DH a lot. Too bad Austin Martin's got concussion-like symptoms now.
Who would be the left fielder if Larnach's in the DH spot?
It depends. I guess right-handed pitcher. I'm an Alan Roden fan. I like the way Roden's played. And
Okay.
he could play some center field, too, which helps. Well, on days that you want to use Buck at DH or give Buck a day off. So, especially now with us, I was thinking that Roden was playing himself into like at least a platoon with Martin in left. Because I think that way Martin finished up last season merits him getting a look there a little bit more in left field at the beginning of the year. So defensively, I'm a little worried about how that's looking. The bullpen, I'm very, very, very concerned. All the out-of-world talent they had last year has been scattered across the league now. Can Cole Sands be the closer? Justin Topa was awful for the first half of spring training. I think he just had a scoreless outing the other day. Finally, is Liam Hendricks ready to contribute? I saw him touch 94 while I was there. Someone said they saw him throw 95, but I haven't seen it in person. Okay. But he's still a work in progress because he had surgery a year ago.
Yeah.
Who's going to line up after him? Banner was a good relief pickup from the Dodgers. He'll be a good lefty. Can Funderburk win the third spot? Can Chafin, who only throws 88 miles an hour, can he be effective? Taylor Rogers is in the mix too. So they've got a lot of guys with a lot of experience in the bullpen. I think if you add innings thrown, it's probably, I'm just guessing here. I don't know for sure. Someone can check me on it. I'm guessing they probably have thrown over 8,000 innings combined. I got to keep in mind that they're relievers, but a lot of them have been pitching for 7, 8, 9 years, Yeah. So they got a lot of experience, but they don't have the talent that Varland had or Duran had, or Jax, had. And
remind me, Jax went to, was it Tampa for Taj Bradley?
Taj Bradley, yes. So I think
does that feel like the right move?
If Taj becomes the Taj Bradley that was once considered one of the top pitching prospects in baseball, it's probably worth it. Okay. If you're trading a reliever for a starter and the starter ends up being above average, then it's a worthwhile trade. All right. But Bradley's got work to do, and he's made some strides in camp, and he's probably going to be in rotation now. Mick Abel's been nasty. I was talking to one of the coaches there.
Really?
Mick Abel's got some of the nastiest stuff of any starting pitcher they have in camp.
Okay.
And he got on a nice roll there. I think he threw 10 scoreless innings. And then he got clobbered in Philly. He walked a batter and he gave up a home run that ended his walkless streak and his shutout streak. But then he settled in and pitched well after that. So I'm expecting Abel to be in the rotation. And that may mean that Zebby begins the season at AAA. Because right now, if I had to choose between Mick and Zebby, based on merit, it would be Mick.
So what I've seen is it's of course Joe and then Ober. Simeon Woods Richardson,
the survivor,
and then you can
Taj,
and then you kind of play the Taj Mick Abel game, and that would be Zebby the sixth man, which would mean it's the green line. He's in St. Paul,
which means he'll be pitching because you don't get through a season without using 8 or 9 starters.
Right.
So Zebby's going to pitch for the Twins this year. Just might not be at the beginning. This is just Lavelle Neal's version of the roster as I left spring training a week ago today. Things could change over the last week because now. Guys have gotten their bodies pretty much ready. Yeah. You're going to start seeing, as soon as Buck comes back, you're going to start, now it's time to pay attention to the batting orders that Derek Shelton puts out now, because now he's thinking about, okay, is this going to work for the regular season or not? Before it was just getting guys at bats, letting them get their timing, letting them get the work the kinks out of their swings.
And it's a week from tomorrow where it's Baltimore and the games start counting.
Yeah, and you're going to start seeing pitchers pitch on back-to-back outings like they would during the regular season. So we're at that point now. Now it's time to focus in on how the rest of the roster is going to shake out.
Did you have any opinion? World Baseball Classic finished up last night. Venezuela beats Team USA. Yep. So Team USA's international streak of W's in recent times sadly comes to an end. But Venezuela, they're the winners. Congratulations to them. But there was kind of some hubbub around Joe Ryan, quote, whether he used the word snub or not. Without reading a ton into it, I thought it was mostly because he had the back stiffness or he was sore and just trying to get traction down in Florida that maybe led to him not getting the opportunity. But where were you at on all that with Joe?
My opinion on this is that as soon as you came down with any sort of ouch or pull or owie during camp, that you're done for the WBC. It's all about getting ready for the regular season at that point. I was thinking about actually writing a column and say, give up the dream, Joe. You need to get ready. Your squad needs you more than ever now that Pablo Lopez is out for the rest of the year. Just get focused for the regular season. The fact that he was able to get healthy and pitch well enough to even be on the radar, I thought was somewhat impressive. I was still a little nervous about it, just because of the short time he got back on the mound after dealing with his back issue. But it was weird. These rosters, it's not the best roster. And I'm going to complain about this in my Sunday column about it's time for this tournament to grow up a little bit and stop being held during preseason, because you got limitations on players. Like the Padres didn't want their closer, Miller, to pitch unless it was for winning, closing out the win. So don't use him if the game's tied in the top of the ninth. Well, okay, why is he even on the roster then? If you're going to narrow it down to that one scenario in which he could pitch in, it's okay. I'm like, okay, we can't have this. So I'm an advocate of having it during All-Star Week.
Well, okay, so I was going to go in that direction. Yeah. I think that and the in-season tournament bit with the NBA is kind of its own different thing. But what we've seen, I think there's a blueprint here with what the NHL has done with the Four Nations Cup, the Four Nations Face-Off, I believe, and then of course these Olympic break, the Olympic break we just saw. And we do talk every single year, kind of the frustrating nature, I hate to call it arbitrary, but the arbitrary nature of these exhibitions does create kind of a stalemate or a stale vibe for that week in the middle of the summer. The WBC would be the perfect midsummer breakup, and it would attract the eyeballs, right? 7-8 million people watching. I think it was U.S. and Dominican Republic on Sunday.
Right.
And so you're getting the eyeballs. That would be terrific for baseball to do that.
And it's been a great lesson for American baseball fans, I think, because you see how much passion there is in the game, and especially in Latin America, how the Dominicans and the Venezuelans approach the game, and how it's a 9 innings of partying, We're not like that. We don't show emotion like these other countries do. And it's even worse, guys. I thought the United States trying to manufacture a little passion, and it's just not in them, Yeah. But it's pretty good to kind of watch that unfold. And this would be great to have, like I've said, whack out the whole week of All-Star Week, and you can have your damn home run derby. You have the All-Star game, but then you can have the semifinals and the finals of the World Baseball Classic held. Yeah, you may have to qualify during spring training to get to that point. Maybe you have to do that, right? But people were locked on these games. Italy making the Final Four, with the espresso machine in the dugout. That was awesome. I was waiting for a pizza maker to kind of show up in the middle of these games. So,
that's awesome.
There was a lot of flavor, a lot of spice, and just a lot of passion. And that's a great celebration of baseball. Connected with the Midsummer Classic, I think you get a hell of a week. So take off that entire week. The question moving forward is, do we adjust the schedule in years in which there's a World Baseball Classic? Do we shorten the schedule? Now, Lavelle and Neal would like to see a regular season last 154 games right off the bat already. I think they can easily knock eight games off the schedule. That's 8 times I don't have to worry about a freaking opener walking out to the mound in the first inning, Do you want to shorten it for those years? Or do we have to wrap our brains around the possibility that we're going to have to start the season a little bit earlier?
Right.
Maybe this would be opening weekend. Just create a space to have the WBC / All-Star game / home run derby / celebrity All-Star, whatever, take place in a week. So
how long, and this, I was scrambling while you were talking there, trying to figure, how long was the WBC in totality from start to finish? Was it a couple weeks?
I think they got 2.5 weeks.
2.5?
Did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but they're going to have to fight with Major League Baseball on it, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm sure the Players Association have something to say about that. And the thing that popped into here, this whole insurance thing, because Carlos Correa couldn't play,
right?
Jose Altuve couldn't play. Okay, how does that dovetail in all this bit here? Is that going to be an impediment going forward for some players?
Well, and I wonder if the United States isn't hosting it. Let's say they got to fly everybody to Japan. How does that work in terms of organizing the travel within that period? Combination of, we qualified with XYZ healthy players in March,
right,
and now the actual the knockout rounds, et cetera, are in mid-July, and half our team is either on the DL. We got some team that doesn't want their ace to play in it. I wonder if maybe some of that plays in too.
I believe Japan is more willing to shut down its league for the greater good of international baseball. I think they're probably going to do it for the Olympics when it's here in the United States. They'll probably just shut down their league. I don't know if.
Well, it feels like our league's going to be shutting down. Who knows what next year holds?
I'm not against that if you can wait schedule around it to make it happen. But Japan has made overtures in the past about wanting the opportunity to host a World Baseball Classic, like semifinals and finals.
Okay.
And the response from the United States has been, we're like paying for a lot of these costs. We're investing a boatload of money and putting on this presentation here.
Right.
Your financial obligation probably would have to go up significantly if they even have a conversation along those lines. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, and that's something that needs to be considered as well. But right now, it's been a brainchild of Major League Baseball, and I'm imagining they're going to try to have it in this country as much as possible.
I was kind of laughing. You mentioned Italy. That was really the cool story of the tournament, them doing what they were doing, and you kind of looking at it's kind of a. I mean, I don't want to call them nobodies, but I didn't recognize just about any of the names.
Well,
and I think
if they had made the finals, it would have been an All-American final.
Effectively, yeah.
With Vinny Pasquantino. Well, how about the center fielder, Mike Inori's kid?
Oh, that is Mike Inori's kid.
That's Mike Inori's kid.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but you have, and then you have the juggernauts, right? And I was kind of laughing after the Americans beat the Dominican Republic. Somebody kind of posted something on X, just kind of implying like the Americans bought that victory, that their combined salaries were like $335 million in Major League Baseball. And they were kind of treating the Dominicans like it was just this cute, just bad news Bears
Juan
bunch.
Soto's on that team. He's not being paid chump change.
But that's the thing is Dominicans, they're making like $310.
Yes.
I mean, they're an absolute juggernaut of an operation.
Yeah, 4 years ago, you probably had Miguel Cabrera part of that bit too, you know? So.
I don't think the Venezuelans weren't getting...
Venezuela, though, sorry, yeah.
I don't think the Venezuelans were getting like $20 million. I mean, they probably have a few highly compensated big-timers.
Pablo's not he's not being paid chump change either.
No,
if he had
not.
stayed healthy.
No, he's not at all.
I tell you what, when I watched it at the press box one day while I was in Fort Myers, and Pablo's sitting there in the press box. And he was like, he just wanted to kind of see the view. And we had to talk, man, that guy's so intelligent about everything.
Yeah.
It's just, we're having a conversation about how does Paul Skeens does it. And he's convinced Skeens just has a delivery that's out of this world. And he throws from an angle that a lot of pitchers can't do and is able to pull it off. So it was just really interesting conversation about baseball. And it was, what day was that? It was Monday. So a week ago yesterday, Pablo finally got clearance to sweat. He couldn't sweat on that elbow yet. So
really?
Yeah, last week was like his the first time for him to be able to sweat in that area. And then this week he was going to get the clearance to start doing some cardio. So this is the it sucks portion of post-op. When you got that contraption on your arm, and I've seen Buxton after shoulder surgery, and his arms are mobilized, and you have to do everything left-handed. And, Pablo's joke was, fortunately, I learned how to wipe my butt with my left hand after my first Tommy John surgery, so I still do it. So he was prepared for that reality to sink in. You think about it, if you're right-handed and you have a Tommy John surgery or a shoulder surgery, which I avoided twice because I've torn both rotator cuffs and avoided surgery both times, that is a life-altering situation here. You have to wear this contraption. You can't take it off. You have to sleep in a certain position. If it's your right hand and you're right-handed, you got to start doing things left-handed, which may lead to angles that you're not used to relying on to get things done.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider the cleanup, the maintenance, the
manscaping,
the hygiene. I didn't consider that aspect of it. Pablo's terrific, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's tough to see him in that spot, but whether it was joining us, we'll call up D. Morse and Morse gets Pablo on the phone with us or something like that. He's been on the power trip. Incredibly bright guy. And
D. Morse was he was like the media relations liaison for the Netherlands during the World Baseball Classic.
What a cool opportunity.
And I believe Mike Herman, the director of team travel for the Twins, was the Dominican Republic's guy. So
it's one of those things when you get, whether it's the Olympics, it feels like it's the perfect timing where you love it. It's fleeting moments. There's the pageantry, the national pride, etc. And then it's gone and you just move on, but then it comes back and it's long enough where you can fall in love with it and let it go again. Right, and it'll be back kind of like the World Cup, right? This summer, we're going to get back after it on the international stage. With the World Cup. And it's just good timing the way they lay those out, I think.
And I believe there's like 102 World Cup games we can watch. It's heaven.
It's
Absolutely. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be awesome.
Now, we got to see if Iran's going to play or not. that's a little bit of a sticky wicket.
That's a whole different conversation. Yes. Let's pause. I want to flip the script a little bit here as our Vikings have made some moves since we last talked to you. Your Bears have made a ton of moves. They're trying to be the class of the NFC North.
Some were forced. They didn't see coming.
Yeah, no kidding. We're going to continue the conversation with Lavelle Neal III at Lavelle Neal via X, Star Tribune columnist. He's in studio, more around the corner, 9 to noon.
The buzzer beaters are coming. Don't miss a moment of college basketball insanity. Catch it all starting tomorrow, 96.7 KFAN Plus, and for free on the iHeartRadio app. It's all sponsored by Dave Smith Motors.
Welcome back. Nordoin for PA, 9 to noon. Lavelle Neal III in studio. Vikings making moves. Johnny Hecker, the punter. We figured out who will be here to heave and to hold for Will Reichard.
Got to be careful with Johnny Pecker.
PA's been saying that for years. There's no doubt about it. But
he actually said that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That's worse than Hermantown.
I'll be out of breath in the press box. Oh, they say, things on the internet, they're forever. Sometimes audio can be as well, and we try to wear it out as much as we can on the fan. Yeah. But Vikings, cash-strapped as they are, you bring in Kyler Murray, you following that as columnist for the Star Tribune.
Yeah.
What do you think on that?
And I've been going back and forth with Dan Burrell on this subject because Burrell's skeptical, Oh,
yeah.
And now he says, I just want to point out both sides. And I get that. When I first heard Kyler Murray to the Vikings, I was like, I think there may be better options than Kyler. He's damaged goods. He's failed there. Played in one postseason game.
And was hideous in that game.
He was. But I started looking at it going, but there's arm talent there. He's mobile. KLC's got a guy who can run. He probably could take advantage of that. Well, JJ can run too. But, and
without getting hurt?
Based on accomplishments, he's accomplished way more than Sam Darnold has before Darnold joined the Vikings. There's stuff to work with there. Now, the stats about throwing across the middle, intermediate routes, how big of an issue is that going to be? Is that how big of a hurdle is that going to be for KLC to overcome here? But in terms of our ability, he can play. And let's not forget, this is all because they made a terrible decision after last season to let go of not one, but two quality quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So you want this to work out, and you also want the Vikings to be in a similar situation at the end of this year where this time they keep Kyler, because if Kyler plays well this year, and I think there's possibility he can.
You're right.
I think just the running and throwing combination, he's got Justin Jefferson, he's got TJ Hawkinson, he's got Addison, he's got guys to throw to. I'm worried about the run game. I kind of was liking the Etienne angle before he signed with New Orleans, But I think Kyler can do a passable job. And if he does well here, sign the guy this time. You do not play with the football gods. When you have two good quarterbacks, you let both of them walk.
Right.
And thinking that, JJ can run the offense because we have a kick-ass defense. That was just, I'm blaming myself for this too, because I bought into it too. I think I predicted that the Vikings would win 11 games or something like that before the year, just because of the defense, and that KLC would probably coach JJ to be at least halfway decent, and that didn't happen.
Yep.
We all took it for granted, the importance of having a good quarterback, and not realizing that when you have a guy like Darnold who went 13-4 or 14-3, or Daniel Jones, that one of those dudes has to stay. They have to stay the next year.
Yeah.
You don't mess with that position, and the Vikings did, and we all bought into it. We all supported it. And we all have to take the L on that one. So you hope that this is their step toward selling the position, that KLC can work wonders with Kyler, that he can pull up numbers, that he can either get rid of his warts or at least smooth them over to the point where he can still be effective. The guy has thrown for over 3,500 yards, 4 or 5 times in his career? Something like that. So there's talent there. There's production there. So it's up to KLC to get this right.
It's the talent mixed with the mistakes, mixed with in recent years, the health. I mean, it's just there's a very polarizing individual in front of us in terms of Kyler Murray. I had written him off. Uber athletic, super talented, makes the game-killing interception in an awful spot, will fumble, and he had some of his worst games as a pro against the Vikings. So never denying the talent, but it's just he's going to be just a guy. He's going to be a guy that earns a starting spot, but he is indeed just a guy. With that said, I'm super intrigued. I'm super intrigued, and I don't think we have to worry about it a year from now, because if he plays pretty well, I don't know how often the Wilfs, I mean, they're in town, I'm sure, a ton during the season. There's no chance that Mark Wilf is going to let another Sam Darnold situation unfold. Right. And they could say, when they fired Kwesi, everybody can say, and surely I believe it mostly to be true, that the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl with Darnold didn't factor into maybe some decisions that were made after the season. It definitely will factor in a year from now if the team wins double-digit games, finds their way to the playoffs, and let's say KO wins a playoff game. You're going to pay him what you need to pay him, because you're not letting that ever freaking happen again.
And that's another thing that needs to happen, too. The Vikings need to win a bleeping playoff game, just like the Wild need to. It's been 11 years for them.
Well, you wrote in your column recently, and they answered your column, Lavelle. How about that? I think that the headline was something like, Wolves, even included the Loons, just got throttled.
That was a bad day.
Soccer team, man.
I was at the watering hole most of the day watching all that unfold, going, this sucks to be a sports fan today here. Yeah. My God. It was, and the Wolves one was the most concerning of the three. Yeah. I'm just angered about how they, last night they got their crap together. Julius Randle was a boss. I love did you see the dunk where his son was like going off in the stands after I
think it was an and one, wasn't it? Later in the game?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to he needs to play more like that going forward. But just the lack of, there's been no sense of urgency with this team. And I don't know if that's Finchie's fault or is that your best player's fault for not playing that way. But then we found out that he's playing with a sore knee and I need a week or two.
Right.
So this is a great time for other guys to step up. Like you saw Bones Highland. You saw Ayo Dosunmu.
Bones and Dosunmu last night maybe are our two best players.
Mr. ILL.
I know Randall had the game. I mean, 30. We needed those 30 points, but I think Dosunmu was terrific last night. And Bones, I mean, just that specifically early sustaining the punch, and when he jumps in and just the burst offensively with him,
right? He's
no breaks, man. Like I really like those two in a vacuum last night. It's been interesting to see the sea change. Have you noticed it at all? More recently, it's almost like people just kind of emerging from the darkness for a little bit, and it's just like it's almost safe now to kind of question like Ant as a leader and Ant as the emotional force of this team. I've just noticed that more recently, and we know he's got the knee and such. I've just heard more conversations about it than I have in the past, where it's almost like it's acceptable now to go, yeah, I mean, 2 years ago we were kind of comparing this guy to MJ. And now we're kind of wondering the volatility of this team, the lack of defense in certain spots. He can't just push a button in the spring, and he's tried to do it, and they've gone to 2 straight conference title series. But it's almost like it's acceptable now to go, you need to win these games too in a muddy West. Like I need you to show up for the 82 prior to the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Well, how old's Ant? Is he 24 yet?
Yeah, 24-ish.
24. He's added something to his game every year, so I'm not going to knock him too much. Was it last year, 2 years ago? We saw all of a sudden the 3-point shooting got on point. This year it seemed like
Steph triple shooting.
Yeah, this year it seems like he was playing cleaner games a little bit. He was taking the mid-range game. The mid-range game was coming around a little bit this year at the beginning of the year. Seemed like it was always like something he was adding to his toolbox. And probably the last one is the whole leadership tool, the leadership gift that he's got to make sure his teammates are involved or feel like they're a part of things and are moving without the ball. And he also has to realize that he's the one that everybody looks to, and he's got to set the same tone and demand the same things from himself as he's demanding from his teammates, especially from the defensive, the lack of defensive intensity has been troubling to me. And it's already bad enough because when Rudy leaves the floor, they're vulnerable defensively much more than they are when he's on the floor. But even when he's been on the floor, it's been wacky. Before yesterday's game, they had given up an average of 125 points a game over their previous 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, not good enough.
That is not good enough at all.
And the
man.
lackadaisical lazy nature with the ball, the 25 turnovers on Sunday were mind-boggling.
So I'm hoping during this period that the guys who are on the floor, kind of find themselves and get into a groove. And I hope Anthony watches it carefully and sees, okay, I got to make sure he is in a position to do what he just did there when I get back on the floor.
Yeah.
And then try to kind of get this thing together to finish strongly and become a force game in the postseason. And this Nari shoulder thing, that's concerning to me. Did he hurt it in Oklahoma City? Was that?
I thought it may have even been prior. I'd have to look that up.
He got clobbered by some. Remember when he got hit? He got hit in the face. He fell down, hit his head on the backboard padding, and then Isaiah Hartenstein fell on top of him. On top of it. Remember, he was down for 30 seconds, just trying to do a system reboot there. I was wondering if that's when it first popped. Oh, by the way, watching Oklahoma's half-court offense, yes, it's very productive. My God, the stuff they get away with while they're running their offense.
Yeah.
Hartenstein was basically tackling people while setting screens.
Oh, the screens were awful.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
What they play in the margins, man. They get in the gray area anytime any opportunity they can,
and they're getting rewarded for it with wins. Is what they are. Let me do this. Let's pause, and then I got 1 or 2 more bits for you on the other. We're going to put a wrap on this show. Lavelle, Neal III, Star Tribune in studio. Final hour, Nordo in for PA, 9 to noon.
Wolves.
Final segment, Nordo in for PA. PA's back tomorrow, and we're going to be at TRIA. It's going to be a Vox in the Box presentation in the Bill Guerin box with the space heater, the whole bit. Looking forward to that. Just a couple minutes left with you, Lavelle. Are your Bears trying to be the class of the North here? I mean, my favorite team doesn't have a center right now, or maybe it's Blake Brandel. Maybe that's the answer. You guys got our guy. You got better on defense. You got Garrett Bradbury, man in the middle now because Drew Dahlman retired a bit early. To everyone's surprise, what's up with your Bears?
Yeah, I'm not here to beat my chest over the Bears having a baffle off season. I think there's still time to go here. You've got the draft and you have the post draft free agent boom that usually takes place because teams didn't draft the player they wanted, and so now they have to return to the free agent market to fill in some holes. But the one thing they did, they got younger and they got faster on defense, which definitely is going to help. They signed Kobe Bryant, the Super Bowl winning safety.
He's a nice player.
Because both Brisker and Byard are gone. Byard's in New England and Brisker's with Pittsburgh, I believe. Good luck to both of them. And we're probably going to draft a safety, I think, with our first couple of one of our first 2 or 3 picks in this draft here. Devin Bush, speedy linebacker. I believe he was with Cincinnati. It may have been Cleveland. One of those orange teams.
I think it was Cleveland.
Fast guy, tackling machine. He'll be a great replacement for Edmonds, who was solid, not spectacular. So they've gotten younger and faster on D, which they needed. Our one big glaring weakness is the edge rusher, which we're probably going to look for in the draft high. Maybe that first round pick. Definitely by the second round, we'll have a new edge rusher in the mix. Because you got Montez Sweat, who's a crafty veteran. You've got Booker on the other edge.
I like Austin Booker.
Yeah, I do too. He gets a little one too many personal fouls for roughing the passer penalties for me.
I think he got a pretty consistent season out of him though this year versus last year.
I'm sure Jordan Love doesn't like seeing him in his face all the time. And we signed a couple of defensive linemen. Andrew Billings, who basically was like me in a Bears uniform, won't be back next year. So that's a good thing. And Shamar Turner, who the Bears drafted a year ago, who suffered a season-ending injury early in the year when the Bears were kind of looking forward to giving him some time. He'll be back. So look for them to draft an edge with that first-round pick.
Any quick peek as we're out of time, but next column, can we get a subject? What are we doing?
I'm writing about Jenna Geyer, ladies and gentlemen. She's the starting post for Green Bay, who's playing the Gophers on Friday. She played at Centennial High School, and I'm interviewing her today, and I'm writing a column for Friday. talked to our high school coaches at Centennial. She leads them in scoring, rebounding, and block shots, and has learned how to shoot threes.
That's
and
awesome.
this is the first time she's playing at home since she left to go to Green Bay.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, man.
And thanks for having me.
That's Lavelle. Thank you to Wes Walls, Charchi, Guardsy, Lavelle, Brett Blakemore. I'm Nordo. Have an awesome afternoon. Thanks for listening to The Fan.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.